to, okay.
Are we live?
We are live, guys. I'm so excited to share with people today just how important it is to, now is the time. And people don't know that, but I definitely want us to share that. So let's buckle our seatbelts on. Let's give these people some great information and get our community back to generational wealth. So I'm excited. Lenika, it is 12 o'clock.
Yes.
It's all yours.
Yes, I just want to thank everyone for coming to our informational webinar. Now is now a good time to buy. So I just want to introduce my co-hosts, Stephanie Thomas, and our guest speaker, Billy Whitley. Did I say it correctly? Okay.
You said it perfectly. Thank you.
Yes, and you are with Southeast Mortgage. Can you tell us just a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Again, my name is Billy Whitley, Southeast Mortgage. This is year 29 in the business for me. I mean, I'm a second generation loan officer. And I've always, I can remember telling my dad, I said, man, I just wanted to do whatever you were doing. Right. And he was always in the mortgages. So that's exactly what I did. So this is year 29 for me. This is all I ever done. This is all I'm ever going to do. Like I tell my wife, I don't wash my own car. I don't mow my own lawn. I don't do any of that stuff. I do mortgages and I do them 8 days a week. Whenever I'm talking to agents, maybe you guys have heard me say this before, but I got one rule. And my one rule is if you're working, I'm working. And that's how you know. I know you guys put in contracts late at night, early in the morning, Saturdays, Sundays, Easter Sunday morning, all that stuff. If you ever wonder, I wonder if Billy working. Yes, if you working. So
I love it.
That's how it works. And I just told Stephanie before we got on that we don't need no schedule. We said, no. We gotta sleep when the baby's sleeping, because when the baby wake up, it need our attention. So Absolutely. That's the way it works. But that's what it is for me. I run a team here at Southeast Mortgage of about 15 loan officers. So I don't do as many deals as I used to because of what I do for the team. But I'm still excited about it. I get up every single morning excited about what we can do for the customers that we serve, especially in our own community. So it's a bit of a ministry for me, and you'll find that out as we go. And whenever you're doing God's work, it's all good. So there you have it.
Well, thank you so much. We love that. And we're so happy to have you here. And we both are people. This is our mission, is to help people build generational wealth through home ownership and simply own something. So one of the questions we want to ask first, Billy, because we're getting this all the time, people have been sitting on the fence waiting. So I want to ask you the first, in your opinion, is now a good time to buy?
I'm going to try not to make this sound self-serving, but yeah, of course. I mean, it's absolutely a good time to buy. And I mean, I'll say that with a clear conscience to anybody. I mean, although we all on this call, we benefit quite a bit when they buy, and it makes it hard for people to hear from us, in that regard. I mean, it really does. And I understand. But it is absolutely it's a good time to buy. And let me tell you why. Here's what I think. This is my opinion. So many times people get wrapped up in the interest rates, right? They hear about this interest rate thing, and they hear about what's going on in the market. And what I find out, if you talk to them, if you kind of peel away some of those layers of the onion, I mean, they don't understand like what's happening in the market. And it's a broad conversation. I mean, we can have a 5-hour webinar about interest rates. And what I like to just remind people is that, number one, interest rates are simply the cost of money. That's all it is. If you were going to the mall and Macy's was selling nothing but money, it'll be interest rates on the tag. That's what it is. It's just the price of money. And I happen to know that 95% of the people I talk to every single day don't care about the price of money in my office.
Right.
They don't care. I know they don't care. You know why? Because I see their credit report. And I see Discover, they paying 23%. I see Visa, MasterCard, and they don't call them talking about, oh, that's high. No, they don't. They don't do that. Right? They swipe. That's what they do. And no questions asked. And I tell them as politely as I can, I'm offended. I gotta look right here. You don't care nothing about the cost of money. Why is it that you care so much when it comes to your mortgage? Like, why is that? That's a great question, right? And most of the time, people just don't quite understand like what's happening. Not to mention the fact out of all this stuff that they don't care about the price of, the mortgage is the only one that increases in value.
Right.
The only one. So, I mean, it's a lot of miseducation and it's a lot of blind leading the blind and, sheep going to slaughter as it relates to these rates. And people get too wrapped up into it. So I remind them of what this is, what these rates are. And why is it a good time to buy right now? The reason is, and finally, the professionals, us, we finally got something tangible to work with. You know what it is? COVID. Because see, if you owned a house during COVID, the good Lord gave you $100 grand.
Mm-hmm.
Sure did. He gave you $100 grand. Just like that. Your house was probably worth $100 grand more than what it was before COVID. I mean, after COVID than it was before. Now, if you didn't get your $100 grand, it's because you wasn't in the game.
Right.
So that is the number one reason why, especially first-time home buyers should buy now, right?
Absolutely.
You got to get in the game because these prices are going to continue to go up, and it only makes you feel good if you got one. Because if you hadn't gotten one yet, prices start going up. It doesn't feel the same. It is nowhere near the same. So
absolutely,
as a first-time home buyer, you want to buy because it's so important to get in the game. Prices are going to continue to go up. And if you already have a home, why do you want to buy right now? It's because when the rates fall, and everybody knows that they're going to fall, when the rates fall, what's going to happen? What is that going to do? It's going to bring everybody that are also sitting on the sideline into the market. And when that happens, those prices again start shooting up. And not only do they start shooting up, now you're in a bidding war. Now you want to pay your agent 1.5% instead of 3% and get value from them because the prices keep going up. All those things that we as the professionals want to, we need to help make sure that they understand because this is why they need professionals. Because quite honestly,
absolutely,
just jump on the phone. I mean, the computers can go get them a house, but so many of us need a professional because they don't quite understand what we do all day. So
yeah.
is it a good time
And
to
I
buy?
want to
Yeah.
add to this, Billy, because you said interest rates go down, everybody's going back outside, the prices are going to go up. And for those of you who want a chance at a seller paying your closing cost, when everybody that multiple offers, so if I don't have enough money, you surely ain't gonna have enough then. Because when those people come back outside, now there's multiple offers, you have a small chance of a seller paying your closing costs. Where right now houses are sitting a little longer and you do have a chance. I'm not saying it's always possible, but you still have a chance. So if you want to save money and more money in your pocket, now is the time because now, but let me ask you this too, Billy, because people are waiting for interest rates to drop. What are they waiting for? Like, what are rates currently?
So rates currently, I mean, it's there again, it's a loaded question, right?
Mhm.
Because what rates are and what your rate is could be two totally different things because everything about the cost of money, these interest rates is all based on risk. What in your history tells a lender that you're going to pay them back on time, before time, and in the right amount? Sometimes it's the credit score. Sometimes it's the amount of money that you're borrowing relative to the price, i.e., did you put a big down payment down? Sometimes it's your debt to income ratio. How much of your monthly income is going toward this house payment? There's all kinds of risk factors that go into what your interest rate is. But I got to answer the question some kind of way, right? So in general, right now, rates are going to be in the low sixes to the mid to low sevens in general. Now, the first thing I want people to realize is that what is the rate is only part of the question. Because what people really mean when they say, what's your rates? What's your rates today? I think what people really mean is that, what is your rate today that doesn't cost me any additional money to get it? Because see, quite frankly, you can get whatever rate you want. You just got to pay for it, right? And nobody wants to pay for it. You can do what they call buy down the interest rate. You can pay as much money as you want, well, within reason. You can pay a lot of money to get a really low rate, but that's not what people are talking about. So that's what makes the advertising so tricky. Well, the other bank said rates are in the fives. Well, they are, but they don't tell you about how much you got to pay to get those fives.
Right,
So
right.
I almost have to finish the question for whomever is asking and then answer it. So that's why I finished. I think people really want to know is, what's the rate that doesn't cost me any additional money to get it?
I love that. I love that. Lenika, I know you have a question for Billy as well.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of what you just said, I had a customer the other day said that she doesn't want to buy right now because she's waiting on the interest rates to go lower. So what would you say to that?
Again, I would tell them all the things that are going to happen. See, again, waiting for the interest rates to go lower is, just making sure they want to, the problem that they're trying to solve for themselves, they want to save money, right? That's really what they want to do. And now you got to remind them that, well, waiting for the interest rates to fall, you will save money in your monthly payment. But what about the overall cost of this property? What about the fact that when prices do start rising and you get into this bidding war that we all just talked about, now all of a sudden, only people with money survive in the bidding wars, right?
Right.
Because the first thing to go is the seller paid closing costs. That's the first thing to go. Then the next thing to go is that they look at your pre-approval when you're getting down payment assistance like you just like you ain't gonna ever pay anybody. This thing ain't gonna ever close, right? So they start cherry picking the pre-approvals because they got 8 of them on their desk for the first hour of an open house, right? So they start cherry picking. How much is down payment? It's conventional loans only. Conventional loans only. All that stuff it'll cost you 3 times the money you're trying to save by waiting on their interest rates to fall. Because see, your interest rate is not permanent. Go ahead and get in the house with all the other benefits, and you can always refinance. And we're doing no lender cost refinance. We'll roll you down for free just because we get a chance to keep the loan for so long. 30 years is a long time as a stream of payment. So a lot of lenders, including us, will, when the rates get more favorable, we'll lower your rate for you without any lender costs. You still got to pay closing attorney's fees and title searches and stuff like that, but it keeps you from having to wait on this so-called interest rate. That's what I tell them.
Yeah. And so I try to tell people, don't get in there over your head, but you get in, you get the seller paid contribution. And when it's time to refinance, make sure you keep your credit straight. Then you won all across the board. Now, when you go in there with that, the lower interest rate, you're still going to have to come out of pocket. So again, I agree with you. It just depends on where people are that they need to make their decision. But if you don't have a lot of cash flow, you need to be out here right now. Y'all the ones that need to be out here. Okay. Now saying that, Billy, on our end, another thing that we're coming across, of course, anybody who's been in Atlanta for 10 years or so, 20 years. We remember rent at $900. Y'all remember rent at $1,200. Y'all know rent. If you find something at $1,800, you lucky. And you probably in the hood living next to, so you can't even really get an apartment for $1,800. So everybody's in sticker shock, and I get it. I'm in the industry and I get it. Everybody, New York, California, everybody called, oh, I can get me a mini mansion for 300,000. You missed that. It's gone, right?
Mhm.
$300,000 does not look like what it used to look like in regards to the amount of house that you can get. So that is a big deflate when people say, oh, I'm ready. And then they get back out here and see what they can afford, right? So, Billy, $300,000, y'all, does not the same house. It doesn't look the same. I want y'all to understand that. But Billy, what would you say for like if a person wanted to purchase a $300,000 house, and I know there's a lot of variables to that, how much you put down and things of that nature. But what are you, if you're just pretty much putting down what's mandatory for the FHA 3.5%, what are they looking at a monthly payment at 300,000?
A monthly payment?
Yes.
When I hear 300,000, I automatically think $2,200 a month. And usually that's a question that I get pretty directly. Like, when I ask them, what's the most you're willing to pay per month? And they'll say, I'm looking for 300,000, 305, 310, that kind of stuff. I said, okay, well, cool. That's a very nice price range. I said, but let me ask you something. When you think about a $300,000 home, what monthly payment comes to mind? You know what I hear a lot?
What?
1,400,
Mhm.
1,600. And the reason they feel this way is because, see, they jump on sites like Zillow and Redfin, and it's got the calculator on there, right? It tells them how much their mortgage payment is. But it only tells you the mortgage payment. It doesn't tell you about taxes or mortgage insurance or homeowners insurance. It's all added to it. Like for a $300,000 sales price, the principal and interest is going to be about $1,500 a month, which fits what they thought they saw when they're out there looking on their own without a professional. But when they get to me and I tell them it's 2,200, 2,250, because I've added in the taxes and the insurance and the mortgage insurance, now all of a sudden that's too much, right? But to answer your question, $2,200 is about a good estimate for a $300,000 house.
I love that. And we need y'all to understand, we all know we're in the same place. It's not what it used to be, but I always tell people, have you ever seen 99-cent gas again? Right. Penny can't, no, right? So now we have to get our mindsets shifted to these are the new prices, y'all. This isn't 2008. People are calling about foreclosures. They're there, but they're not on the market like they used to be. We'll talk about that on another episode, why you're not seeing them. The people in the back are buying them in bulk, so they're not even really hitting the market. Okay.
Yep.
So, Billy, did you want to add to that?
Yeah. Let me jump in. Let me tell you the reason that's the case. Let me tell you what's really happening. And it's this thing called inflation. That's what's really going on. That's what's driving this whole disconnect between what we used to paying and what we got to pay now. But what also is happening is that, do you guys know that in metropolitan Atlanta, like the 5 or 10 major counties around Atlanta, the median income is $106,000. 106. Everybody making six figures now. Just about. I see it all the time, six figures. I mean, the phone man, AT&T, make $95,000. And the reason I'm saying is because maybe if you don't make six figures, if somebody wants a $300,000 house and they don't make six figures, then see these income brackets kind of increase all around us, because all we do is go to work and get our little cost of living raises. But people are making, quote unquote, more money than they ever have from a dollar standpoint, but the purchasing power isn't changing. Right. So this $2,200 that I'm talking about is equivalent to the $1,650 that you're used to paying from a purchasing power standpoint. And that's why it's so hard for us to realize, like, man, $2,200 is a lot of money, but $95,000 is too. And you don't feel it like that. I mean, you don't get a chance to see how, you feel good about your raise, and you should. But at the same time, the purchasing power is not changing. It hadn't changed in the last 40 years.
Mm.
You know, I mean, I found my dad's old HUD-1 statement for a house that I grew up in. He bought it in 77 and it was $35,000. And what was interesting about it is, maybe I told you I was a second generation loan officer, but my dad was the loan officer on the house. My mom was a teacher and she bought it herself. Y'all guess who the real estate agent was? The real estate agent was Willie Watkins of Watkins Funeral Home. I don't know if you guys know who Willie Watkins is.
Wow. Oh, yes.
But Willie Watkins and my dad were agent and loan officer for the longest. And my dad would be calling Willie, and Willie would say, look, I'm about to get out of this. I'm gonna get me a funeral home. And my dad would tell me stories about, man, you better go to work, you better go sell a house. Ain't no money in the funeral business. But anyway, for you guys that don't know him, you know, Willie Watkins is as big as they come.
Yes, yes,
But
absolutely.
anyway, he sold my dad and my mom the house that in the 70s. But at any rate, that's what's happening as far as income and these prices are concerned.
Absolutely. So I just want to give y'all that note. As y'all come in and y'all talking to us and we're giving you these marketing research listings so you can see what's out there, what's available. I know it's a shock from what we used to. New York people comment, same thing, $300,000. Like right now, I'm shopping with a client, 265. They're mostly ranches. This ain't the two-story with the brick front. No, no, that's gone. So for y'all, when you get back on the market, and us professionals, we understand it's going to be a shock, but let's settle in. But don't let that stop you from buying, because you got to think you're going to pay somewhere. Why not be investing in something? The other myth I want to make sure that we dispel, and I'm going to bring this back over to you, Lenika, after this, is a lot of people have the commitment phobia of this 30-year mortgage. Listen, in Atlanta, don't nobody live in no house for 30 years. It's 5 to 7. They no longer want to live in McDonough. Now they want to go to Smyrna. You sell it. Now, I know I talked to a lady the other day and we talked about that. She said, really? Some of us are still stuck. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, before I got in the real estate market, I had commitment phobias about everything when it came to my money. Because I own my own business. I don't know what my paycheck going to be on Friday. So my commitment phobia was 30 years, because all we know is a 30-year mortgage. Guess what? When you no longer want it, you sell it. You take your equity, you open a business, you get buy another house, you can do whatever. So for those of you who think that, let that go. The 30-year mortgage, you can sell it whenever you like. Back over to you, Lenika.
Now, Billy, you actually so my question was, well, I have clients who are looking at those sites like Zillow and getting these inaccurate numbers. And so I just wanted to, I was going to ask you, what do you say to that? And what does the mortgage payment typically include? I know you did touch on it, but can you touch on what that monthly payment actually includes?
Sure. And you know, and the information is nothing really inaccurate about the information and on Zillow. It's just incomplete. You know, it doesn't tell the whole story. It's a sales piece. It's to get you on the phone. It's to get you interested. And that's why I'm careful to tell them it's not inaccurate. It is what it is, but you need, you know, professionals explaining how to digest some of that information. But with almost every mortgage, it's broken down into parts. The first part of it is called the principal and interest, right? So all that is you paying back a piece of the money that you borrow, plus whatever they're charging you for the money. The principal piece of that, of course, is the amount that you got to pay back of the money you borrow. And then the interest, of course, is just that, it's the interest. Now, the second part of this breakdown of the monthly payment are the taxes. Now, property taxes are generally going up. And the reason they're going up, because it's always based on a percentage of the values of the properties in the area. So as properties prices go up, the taxes will go up as well. All right. So generally that's what's happening. And we always take whatever the annual taxes are divided by 12 and add it to your monthly payment. The next part of that is the homeowner's insurance. Now, homeowner's insurance has increased drastically. Now, in order for insurance rates to increase, each state has an insurance commission, and the insurance industry has to petition the state insurance board to increase rates. Well, in Georgia, they passed it, and you can tell. Homeowners insurance is, relative to my old thinking, sky high these days. $2,200 a year for homeowners insurance for a $300,000 house is what you can expect. And all of that is included in the monthly payment. And if you put less than a 20% down payment, if you make a less than 20% down payment, there's something called mortgage insurance. You may have heard it referenced as PMI, private mortgage insurance. But whatever the case, that private mortgage insurance, it only protects the lender. It sounds like it's some insurance that you can take advantage of, but it's not for the buyer. It's for the lender. And it makes it easier for them to loan money out when the buyer has less skin in the game. Less skin in the game, I'm just simply saying that when down payment is less than 20% down, they consider it a little bit more risky. So those are the four things: principal and interest, taxes, mortgage insurance, and homeowners insurance.
Great.
Wow,
Thank you.
That is some great information. And guys, we just want you to know we're going to keep bringing these. We're going to have different agents hosting these with different guests, just bringing y'all information because we need y'all to take a piece of the American pie. I tell people, if I can show you how to invest in something and not spend any more money than you're already spending, but in the next 5 to 7 years, you can make upwards to $100,000, what would you say? Most people are like, oh, what is it? Buy your own house. You're already paying rent. Time to put your money into something else. And we're watching people who lived in houses for 7 years walk away with upwards to $100,000, $150,000, depending on the equity, because house prices raised, right? And make more off of just living in the house than they do working and retiring for somebody for 30 years. That's how serious this is. That's why you see millionaires and billionaires outside of what they do every day. They buy real estate. It is something tangible. Y'all, we got to get rid of the fear. We got to hop in the game. Now, we want to hop in right. So you need to hop in with people like Billy Whitley of Southeast Mortgage. You need to hop in with Connections Realty Group and let us answer your questions. Let us help you buy the right way, because y'all, a house is much more than just some way to live. It is an investment in your future. It is an investment in the future of your family. So with that, y'all, we thank you so much. Billy, please share your information, or whichever loan officer, Demetrius is who we work with. So if they need to get in touch and have more questions, they can get in touch with you all.
First off, just to piggyback on what you said, really super quick, as far as fear is concerned, there's plenty of stuff to be afraid of. Plenty of stuff. Start with these. Renting for 30 years. Be afraid of that. Be afraid getting 30 years older than you are right now and never have bought a house. I mean, that's something to be real terrified about. If we're looking for something to be afraid about, right? Second thing to be afraid of is not getting paid for something you're going to do anyway, which is provide a shelter for yourself. Everybody else around you is doing it. I mean, everybody's getting paid, getting equity in their home and all of that stuff. I mean, why not you? And if you're not ready now, so it's okay. It's okay. Everybody's not ready until they get ready. And I guarantee you this, in 2 years, I guarantee I can get anybody a loan. I guarantee it in 2 years. And just think about what you were doing 2 years ago. I mean, I think we've been out of code, so to speak, for 2 years. And it felt like just yesterday. So 2 years goes by really quickly. All you got to do is just do a few things to get yourselves ready. Demetrius, for sure, myself, we'll be happy to put you on the right track. And for us professionals, let's, maybe sometimes you got to manufacture, our clients. They're not ready right now. Can't be pulling fish out the lake already clean. I'm good with that. You know, they don't come that way. Sometimes we got to slice the head off. We got to split them down the middle. We got to get all the guts out. But when we're done, we got a nice, really nice fillet, and we can all eat off of it. So that's part of the process for us. Is just finding people that think they want to buy, and if we and from a sales perspective and the prospecting that we all do on a day-to-day basis, all we want to do is find people that want to buy. I ain't saying they're ready yet. It's okay. You know, but if they want to buy, we can show them, we can kind of twist it in their minds, like, this is what I need to be doing. And I'm telling you, this God's work. That's what we're going to do.
Absolutely.
Information. Again, my name is Billy Whitley. My phone number is 770-855-6621. If you're working, I'm working. And Demetrius's phone number is, see, where's Dee's phone number? Now, they don't let us memorize phone numbers anymore. Demetrius's phone number, he's probably a better first contact. He's boots on the ground for me, but it's 404-396-7445.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you so much. Lenika, you want to close out?
Yes. Thank you so much for your time. And I just want to take a second and just tell everyone we do have a replay on this video this upcoming Wednesday, October 30th at 7 p.m. and Sunday at 10 a.m. And then we will have another informative segment on November 11th.
Well, thank you so much for that, Lenika. Guys, don't be afraid. Okay, knowledge kills fear, and we have the knowledge. Give us a call. Our number here, my number is 404-246-3841. Lenika, please share your information.
Yes, my number is 470-455-0511.
Hey, y'all, we're here to help. Let's get this generational wealth going. I promise you, it won't hurt. And it's not about being ready, it's about getting ready. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next segment. Thanks, Billy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Right.